Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
From the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. We're in FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you had a better weekend than the Memphis Grizzlies, the Memphis Tigers football program, the Memphis Tigers basketball program, because, oh, buddy, it's a rough sports scene around these parts these days. We'll dive in momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment around 10:20, Michael Eaves is going to join me. He, of course, hosts SportsCenter for ESPN. He was in studio last night recapping a busy Sunday in the NFL. I'll talk to Michael Eaves about Shedeur Sanders' debut in Cleveland, about Aaron Rodgers' injury. I'll ask him about the Lane Kiffin situation down at Ole Miss. Michael Eaves is going to join me in the next segment. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we will discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Josh Pastner. He coached against Memphis this weekend for the first time since leaving Memphis following the 2015-16 season, and he won the game, 92-78, despite being a 9.5-point underdog at tip-off. That means the Tigers lost, which means, oh, buddy, Penny Hardaway's Tigers just lost at home to a UNLV team that entered with a 1-2 record featuring losses to UT Martin and Montana. That's not great. Ben and I will express real concern about our alma mater. We will do it in about 40 minutes. Ryan Silverfield's Tigers also lost this weekend, 31-27 at East Carolina. So now the same team that was just 2 weeks ago projected to make the 12-team college football playoff is now on a 2-game losing streak and 4-3 in the American. We'll mourn Tiger football a little later on in the show. Thank God for Brooks Monaghan's women's soccer program over at the University of Memphis. After ridiculously getting a 7 seed in the NCAA Tournament, Memphis beat Illinois 2-1 this weekend to advance in the bracket. They're now in the second round of the NCAA Tournament for the 5th time in program history. Playing at TCU on Thursday. We'll talk Memphis women's soccer in just a bit. Jake Paul has announced his next fight. It's going to be against a 36-year-old former Olympic gold medalist and heavyweight boxing champion, It's going to be next month in Miami, streamed on Netflix. I'll tell you more about it in the third segment. And rest in peace, Todd Snider. Sad stuff this weekend. Brilliant and hilarious songwriter and storyteller. Died at the age of 59 after complications from pneumonia, according to a statement released by friends and family. Todd had real strong ties to Memphis. His first album was named after a Memphis bar. He wrote songs about Fraser, Tennessee, and Horseshoe Lake. I'll tell you a little more about him, about his life, during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because, man, you got to talk about something.
Yeah.
You got to talk about something. Tiger football's in the dumps. Tiger basketball seems even worse. Grizzlies are injured and struggling. Rough weekend.
Yeah.
Rough weekend all around. As noted, we'll get to all of it eventually. But let's begin in the NBA, where after Saturday's loss in Cleveland, the Grizzlies are now 4-10 on the season. They've lost 8 of their past 9 games. And if you think that's the worst part of it, truth is that's not even the worst part of it, because the worst part of it is probably that Ja Morant is injured, or at least he left Saturday's game with what was described as an injury. Once again, meaning the Grizzlies are now down 4 under contract point guards, at least in theory. Again, Ja left Saturday's game with what was described as a calf issue. If you're curious, Santi Aldama was sidelined by the same organization last season with the same thing, calf soreness, and he missed 6 games. Not saying that's necessarily a map for how things are going to go this time with Ja. I'm just saying calf soreness has cost this franchise key players for multiple weeks before. Either way, Ty Jerome remains sidelined with his own calf issue. Scottie Pippen Jr. is recovering from toe surgery, and Javon Small is dealing with a case of turf toe. That's 4 under contract point guards, all dealing with various injuries. So welcome to the NBA, Jemai Mashak.
Hey.
Welcome to the NBA, Jemai Mashak. 59th pick of the 2025 NBA draft. He was signed to a 2-way contract this weekend because unless you're tanking, you need a healthy point guard on the roster. Obviously, we're still waiting on official word about Ja, but like I said, I wouldn't expect great news because let's just keep this simple. You don't sign 6'8" forward PJ Hall to a 2-way contract in July just to waive him for 6'4" point guard Jemai Mashak in November. The most obvious reason you do that is because you need a dribbler ASAP because your starting point guard just limped off a court in Cleveland. Welcome to the NBA, Jemai Mashak. He was the last pick of the 2025 NBA draft, and he could theoretically play point guard for your Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow night in San Antonio. Big Bet Bennett, it's good to see you on this Monday morning.
What's up, man?
We survived another weekend, but our NBA franchise is going through it. You got anything positive to add, or do you want to just be sad with me?
Okay. Well, I told you this morning I'm actually like catching up with a lot of stuff just because I completely unplugged yesterday from social media and didn't look at anything because I was so down in the dumps. And then like, dude, we'll talk about the rest of it in a little bit, but I was just like, I can't look at anything negative anymore. Like I can't do it. It's too much. It's too much.
You got to protect your peace.
You got to protect your peace, like they say. Can I add anything positive? Okay, I will add something positive. I thought Zach Edey's debut was very positive, and frankly, for the first 6 minutes of that game until Ja Morant got hurt, I was like, hold on.
Best 6 minutes of the weekend.
Best 6 minutes of the season. I mean, dude, they were on the road against an Eastern Conference contender. They looked really good, and it looked like they finally had their guys. For 6 minutes, it looked really good.
That's a hell of a 6 minutes.
Yeah, and then Ja gets hurt, yeah.
It was a nice 6 minutes.
Yeah, so
there was a point on Saturday where I found myself genuinely excited. Just shows you how quickly your heart can get ripped out, you know?
Yeah.
There was a point on Saturday I was genuinely excited. Believe it or not, excited by news delivered by @GrizzliesPR. That's not something that happens every day.
No, I mean, I was doing the pregame show radio, and like I'm like refreshing because it came like pretty close to, I think maybe about 30 minutes before we found out on Zach and on Cedric Coward their status.
That was the update. The update was this. The update was Cedric Coward is available. Zach Edey is available. Both are going to be in the starting lineup. Ja Morant's not even on the status report. He's going to be in the starting lineup. Let's go. This is what it looks like.
And then we saw it for 6 minutes.
It's the best 6 minutes of the weekend.
It was the best 6 minutes of the Grizzlies season so far. I thought we were. And listen, hopefully we get not bad. Like that Santi thing you bring up is interesting. 6 games, like that's.
He left a game, was put on a status report with calf soreness, and missed 6 games.
Yeah, the thing about Ja that made me nervous, I would assume he misses time too, is he leaves the game. You can see him kind of limping off, and then he's out pretty quickly. Like they announce he's out.
He went right to the locker room.
He went like
you know.
Yeah, and they said he's out pretty quickly after that. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's the calf. Like you're going to be super careful with the calf. We know that about the NBA now. You're going to be. Ty Jerome hadn't played yet this season, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, hamstrings, calves is you either can't play on them because it's too painful to play on them, like you just can't. I suffered a hamstring injury earlier this year, not to compare myself to a professional athlete, but it is true. I did suffer a hamstring injury earlier this year, and I just know that if you've ever tweeted, I know he's got a hamstring issue, but he hasn't played in 3 weeks. What's going on? Why can't he play? If you've ever tweeted something like that, it is evidence that you have never had a hamstring injury because you just can't do it. It's not even like something.
Not about a pain tolerance.
It's that you just can't do it.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
Your body won't let you do it.
Like, there were days where I had trouble getting out of my car because you can't move the way you're supposed to move, right? So with hamstrings and calves, you either can't play on them, like period, like it's like you just can't go, or you think you can maybe go, but your medical team says not yet, not now. So these things are complicated and often lengthy. At the collegiate level right now, Darren Peterson is dealing with a hamstring injury at Kansas. He's a projected top 3 pick in the 2026 NBA draft. He's missed 2 games. Kansas fans are like, what's going on? He has a hamstring injury. You don't mess with those. Calf injuries, same things, and calves are even worse because it can lead to the Achilles. So here we are again. I don't know how we got here. I don't know why God hates us, but
I don't either.
Here we are again. Do you have a theory why God hates us?
I don't. I mean, that's probably another show for another day. I've tried to get more, philosophical in my old age, but no, I can't pinpoint it now.
I can't pinpoint it either. I don't know what we did to deserve this.
I don't either.
I mean, looking back on it, I ain't never claimed to be perfect, but I don't know what I did to deserve this.
Right. It was a truly painful weekend.
Good Lord.
It was a truly painful weekend. But again, hey, I thought Zach Edey looked good in his debut.
Man, yeah.
I thought Zach Edey looked good in his debut.
Just good to see him.
I'm feeling good about that. Listen, I know it was a rough collapse at the end of that Cleveland game. That was a terrible fourth quarter. I get it. But for 3 quarters, I was like, okay. And Jaren played well because Zach Edey was there. Like, that's good stuff. Hopefully Ja can come back soon because I do think that I think they could turn this around. Like, if they have that group that they started that Cavs game with on Friday, I do think they can turn this thing around. I do.
I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Because here's the truth. Turning things around, like if you're just trying to get to the postseason, you don't even have to turn them around as much as you think.
That's right.
It feels awful.
Yeah, of course. 4-10 sounds horrible. And it is not great.
But go ask Pelicans fans how they're feeling right now. Or Mavericks fans how they're feeling right now.
Right.
Or Kings fans how they're feeling right now. This needs to get turned around. First, you got to get healthy, then get turned around. That's probably the order in which these things happen. But you don't have to turn it around as much as you think to get where it is most people had you projected anyway in the preseason, which is the play-in tournament. But we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
In the meantime, assuming Ja can't go, let's just, for the sake of this conversation, assume tomorrow night. Let's just keep it that simple.
Okay.
There's a scenario where the Grizzlies are trotting out a best of what you got lineup that is wildly inexperienced and probably ill-equipped. Clearly, you could go at point guard. Vince Williams Jr., they tried that. Cam Spencer. But neither are natural point guards, and both have obvious limitations at either broadly speaking or at that position.
Got it.
So, I mean, you could think about this. This is a lineup you could watch tomorrow night or Thursday night or at some point soon. You could look out and this is what you see. Rookie Jemai Meshack, 59th pick of the 2025 NBA draft. He's playing point guard. Beside him, you've got a combination of Cedric Coward and Jalen Wells. One of them is a rookie who was the 11th pick in the most recent draft. The other, a second-year player who was the 39th pick in last year's draft. Then Jaren Jackson Jr., of course, at the 4. And then second-year player Zach Edey, the 9th pick in last year's draft. One veteran, 2 second-year players, 2 rookies might be your most sensible lineup this week. And for who knows how long. That's pretty nuts.
It is.
I mean, that there will be G League teams this week somewhere that will play lineups with more experience than what I just described the Grizzlies might be forced to do at some point. So for those reasons and more, the wins could be hard to come by until the schedule lightens up. And good news, it does on Thursday. And we got a game against the Mavericks coming up too. So got to take advantage of those opportunities. But like I said, if you want to be encouraged, and it's hard, but like if you want to feel not so bad, perhaps encouraged is too strong. How about just feel not so bad?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the standings. Not the 4-10 mark, that's bad. But 4-10 in the West only has the Grizzlies a game and a half out of the final play-in spot. Dallas is also 4-10. Sacramento is worse. New Orleans is worse and just fired its coach. In other words, by definition, like 10 Western Conference franchises have to make the postseason. That's the way this stuff works. So you only have to be better than 5 teams. Should be better than New Orleans, Sacramento, Dallas. New Orleans has already fired his coach. Dallas has already fired his GM. Blazers lost their coach to a gambling scandal. Should be better than, you know? The Jazz are going to stop trying at some point, you would assume. And
maybe, yeah.
And that's all it takes, right? That's all it takes to get into the play-in. So I'm not trying to tell you this is good. This is bad. Way worse than I anticipated. Certainly worse than I hoped for. But 4-10 right now only has you a game and a half out of that final postseason spot. And for 6 minutes, you got a glimpse of what that might look like when you get healthy, when you have your preferred players, at least preferred starters, available to you. On Saturday, even with that starting lineup, you still didn't have Ty Jerome to come off the bench, Scottie Pippen Jr. to come off the bench, Brandon Clark to come off the bench. You're still shorthanded. But for a handful of minutes, you got to see what it might look like, and that was encouraging. Very briefly.
Yeah, I thought
very briefly.
I thought so too. And again, I do think Edey's going to make a big difference. Like, you don't want to put too much on a guy's shoulders that's a second-year player, but he was a lottery pick, and I think he's going to be the real deal.
It's just that what they're going to be trotting out there, theoretically, is very young to try to win games in the NBA. Very young. Very hard. This is not a young man's league. You can have young men who are special.
Right.
But young men can be special. But young teams don't win very often.
It's true.
In this league. Not teams starting. I mean, you could, again, run out a lineup that has 2 rookies and 2 second-year players with Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, that might be a lineup you see. In fact, it's probably a lineup you see at some point. That's not ideal. But we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. Meshack's been good for the hustle. So, hey, I'm excited to see him. I'm glad he's getting his opportunity.
I am glad he's getting this opportunity. Yep. I wish it were not under these circumstances, but hopefully he takes advantage of it. Michael Eaves is up next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Own the 2025-26 Grizzlies season with the 10-game Flex Pack, the ultimate way to catch all the action on your terms. Choose your favorite matchups from intense rivalries to weekend thrillers and customize your pack to fit your schedule. With 10 games to pick, you'll never miss the moments that matter most. Visit Grizzlies.com/packs today to build your perfect ticket pack and cheer on the Grizzlies your way. It's your team, your season, and your schedule. So don't miss out.
Grizz Nation, Friday night just got a whole lot better. Introducing Buckets and Brews, the ultimate way to tip off your weekend. Every Friday this season, grab a terrace-level ticket to the Grizz game and 2 12-ounce Miller Lights for just $55. Get great seats, cold brews, and Grizzlies basketball. It's everything you need to start your weekend off right. So get the deal that's too cold to hold. Go to grizzlies.com/Friday to lock in your tickets today. Check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap. Sheesh.
That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it. I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Parrish Show presented by Ortho South on Mondays in the second segment. I'm joined by Michael Eaves, who of course works for ESPN. He was hosting SportsCenter last night. He's here right now. Michael Eaves, I stayed up with you last night. I watched you to the very end. Pull the curtain back. You and Nicole, real drinks or fake drinks at the end of the show?
I mean,
I lost you for a second.
I said,
I got you. Well, it looked like fun. It looked like a nice way to end the night after a long day of work, and it was obviously a busy Sunday. I want to get to the NFL in a second, but hilariously, there was this moment in New Orleans where Draymond Green, I think, found out that all courtside fans are not the same size. What did you make of Draymond looking up at a guy courtside? It was an interesting interaction at the Smoothie King Center.
It'd be entertaining because nothing came of it. You know what I mean? Steve Kerr was he had a little more issue with it because he thought security could have got there earlier. Look, I don't think should interact with players to the degree that a lot of them feel as if they're comfortable to do. Quite honestly, that's just me because of things that can happen. And you're not on the court with these guys. Like you don't have, in my opinion, a right to engage in certain conversations with them. Because there is an imaginary border that separates you guys. But also beyond that, there is a separation between those who are entertaining and those who are there to be entertained. Now, what Draymond took exception to was being called Angel Reese, and he took it in a negative connotation because of the knocks that Angel gets in her game. Because afterwards he said, you could have called me Lisa Leslie. She got way more rebounds than Angel Reese. Well, Lisa Leslie's game was way more well-rounded than Angel Reese's at this point. And I think that's what the fan was trying to get at. And Draymond knew that, and that's why he took exception. Again, nothing came of it. And it was, to your point, the NBA players are by far the tallest people in the building, not even close. But for that guy to be looking dead-eye in Draymond, if not looking down at him, it was the funniest aspect of it to me.
It was a funny visual, undeniably. Let's move to the NFL. Among the headlines, Aaron Rodgers leaves yesterday's Steelers game. The fear is that it's a fracture in the wrist. I know we don't have confirmation yet, but obviously this is football. This stuff happens, but when you see an all-time great have to walk off the field at this age, you just don't know, how much there actually is left.
Correct. And for him, it's the second time in 2+ seasons we've seen him leave with an injury that could be season-ending. Obviously, he had the Achilles his first year in New York, and now this potential injury in Pittsburgh. It is unfortunate, but at this age, you're way more likely to sustain certain injuries than you were, 10, 15 years ago in your career. So in that regard, it's not that surprising. It's disappointing, obviously, for the Steelers and their fans. But I will say this, Mason Rudolph came in and played really well for them. And if you were depending on the play of Aaron Rodgers to get you into the playoffs and then make a deep run, and that possibility may go away if he's going to be out for a sustained absence, I understand that. But for that one half of what we saw from Mason Rudolph, like you're not in terrible hands the way some teams fall off when they lose their starting quarterback. But that would be a blow for the Steelers for sure, because, even last night we mentioned on SportsCenter, they lead their division right now by one game. But ESPN Analytics, Ravens will actually win the division. Now, these two teams have not played yet. They will do it for another couple weeks. So even with that one-game lead and Aaron Rodgers in there before he got hurt, the Ravens are still going to win the division.
I don't know that I plan to spend 10 minutes of my life watching locker room interviews with Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey, but I did it yesterday. Weird thing, because Jamar is like saying I didn't spit on anybody, but, we have really nice cameras that show everything, and it certainly appeared that he did. Where do you think this story goes from here?
Oh, he's going to get suspended for a game, clearly. If Jalen Carter was the precedent set earlier in the season, then the league has already showed you what they're willing to do in a situation like this. And look, guys say stuff and things cross lines. I understand. But that is such a punk-ass move, Gary. Like, it is literally one of the most disrespectful things you can do. And when you are doing it, you are intentionally trying to be disrespectful, right? And then when you're asked about it, like it didn't happen, and basically straight up lie, saying you didn't do it. I never opened my mouth to that man. When you open your mouth to the man, when you're talking trash to him, that's what led to the whole situation to begin with. And then clearly there's so many cameras at a game now that's going to be seen. And you say, no, I didn't do that. Then that, to me, just makes that punk-ass move a bigger punk-ass move. Like, if you're going to do it, dog, stand on it. I can't stand that dude. My disrespect for him is so that I just had to spit on him. Say that as opposed to doing it and then act like you didn't. He needs to be suspended. It's so disrespectful. And for me, Gary, can we just keep our bodily fluids to ourselves, dog? Like, I'm just tired of us having to talk about somebody spitting on another person. It's just gross, it's childish, and it's just dumb.
Shedeur Sanders made his much-anticipated debut yesterday. It did not go well. Only completed 25% of his passes. That's historically bad. I thought he handled himself well in the postgame, like the way he just talked about everything. He was gracious and thoughtful. I thought that part was good. But then there's this whole other world, and this is just this weird thing that's happening with him, and I'd see it with, it happened with Angel Reese since, in the where people seem to really celebrate their shortcomings sometimes. And I don't know. I just can't ever get on board with that. I don't like watching young people struggle. I root for people. I don't root against them. But it does feel like there was a whole group of the population that couldn't wait to see Shedeur Sanders play. And then there was another group waiting for him to not play well. Make sense of what I'm saying if you can.
Well, it's the cultural aspect of it, quite honestly, Gary. And this is where you have to get real if you want to understand things and maybe as a society at large improve some things. There's a certain portion of American society that does not feel comfortable with the excellence of Black people. And especially when those Black people are very confident with their excellence and are willing to talk about their excellence compared to other people. They come off with an attitude or they're uppity. That's the historical context of those conversations, right? Because you never see it to that regard with other athletes that aren't Black. People love Conor McGregor and all his bodaciousness, but they hated it from Deion Sanders, and now they take a lot of that towards Shedeur Sanders because he's Deion's son. But Shedeur is nowhere near the level of prime time that Deion Sanders was, not just as a player, but as a personality, right? But some people just aren't comfortable with it. How dare you put your excellence out there, make me feel inferior about my inability to do what you can do? That is innate in some people. And whether it's conscious or subconscious, Gary, that is a real thing. Right? And how it manifests itself is in what you're talking about, people wanting to see the downfall of someone they know nothing about other than what they see in the capacity of sports. It's a shame because, to your point, Shedeur Sanders has done nothing outside of the sport to make you say he is a bad person. You don't like the way in which he plays or the way in which his father carries himself in his confidence. So that's what leads to this. And it is unfortunate because, one, the kid has nothing to do with anything his father did. And as a player, he has been accomplished enough to be where he is now. Every other player that basically did what he did in college at that level would be where he is now. But it's a shame that people want to root for that downfall.
The lead headline at ESPN.com right now reads this way: the Chiefs aren't broken, but they could miss the playoffs. We don't even imagine that Patrick Mahomes healthy wouldn't be in the postseason, but I don't want to say we're on the verge of that, but it's something.
We are, though. We are on the verge of it.
Yeah,
we are.
It's something to contemplate. How did we get here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of our analysts at ESPN are having a hard time understanding it as well because, you know, every time there's been some type of hole in the Chiefs, whether it's offense or defense, right, they tend to address it. And for this particular team, we thought, well, it's a receiver issue. They don't have one to stretch the floor, stretch the field, and people are crowding Travis Kelce. So, da-da-da. Well, you got Xavier Worthy there, so that was supposed to help. Rashee Rice came back, and he's a guy that can run and catch the ball out of the backfield. So all the offensive weapons are supposed to be there, but they still can't get over whatever this hump is. I mean, last year in one-score games, beat them. If they had the ball in a tight game, they were going to win. They're now 0-5 this season in one-score games. That, to me, is way more telling than anything else. They are not the same team they have been for the better part of a decade. And seemingly, Gary, they don't know how to fix it yet. So to say that even if they make the playoffs, and I said this last night on SportsCenter, if it is Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game and they go on the road, you would not be surprised if they beat anybody. That's what history says, and this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. But recent history and what they're doing right now, it would be hard for them to go into a lot of places and win based on how they played this year.
So among the reasons this is a conversation today is because Denver is the team that beat Kansas City yesterday, and the Broncos are now 9-2 under Sean Payton. And whether it's what Mike Vrabel is doing in New England or what Sean Payton is doing in Denver, I just couldn't help but think, like in the NBA, there's a real skepticism about how much head coaches actually matter. We discard them all the time. In the NFL, they can be real difference makers, like a star quarterback or a star linebacker. I mean, these guys have flipped these franchises, both of them, pretty quickly.
And they both won 8 games in a row.
Yeah.
Currently. The Patriots and the Broncos have the longest winning streaks in the league right now at 8 straight wins. So, yes, there clearly is a benefit of having quality coaches. And it starts with culture. But also, Gary, what a lot of these coaches do, hire other coaches below them to help develop, not necessarily develop players per se, but develop mentalities of players. They give players an opportunity to be better than they were before. And that takes a lot of awareness and understanding to put players in that position. Not everyone understands that, but the great ones always have, and they've been able to assemble staffs under them to execute that idea. And Mike Vrabel was a good coach in Tennessee before it went sour, and now he's proven to be a good coach there. Obviously, we've seen what Sean Payton did with the Saints winning the Super Bowl. Now he's in Denver and completely changing it. So there is value in that, 1,000%. And you know the flip side of that, Gary, is you can hire bad coaches because they don't understand that concept and they can't put players in position to be successful. They need players to be successful on their own and just to fit into a scheme. Those coaches never last.
Last thing before I get you out of here. In college football, Ole Miss won again this weekend. They beat Florida. They seemed headed towards the college football playoff. Meantime, Lane Kiffin is the centerpiece of all sorts of coaching rumors. And I have watched, based on where I live, Ole Miss fans, like I'm talking season ticket holders, my neighbors, go from, on some level, oh my God, we can't lose Lane Kiffin. Please don't go Lane Kiffin. We'll do anything for you, Lane Kiffin. To, I've seen it flip. Yo, man, what are you doing? Why are you stringing us along like this? This isn't comfortable. This is awkward. This isn't fun. If you're going to go, just go ahead and go now. I've seen some of that stuff, which obviously isn't practical. But what do you make of the Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, Florida, whatever else situation that's unfolding while Ole Miss is also perhaps, competing for a national championship?
It's the nature of college football, man. People don't care. The fans of other teams don't care. Obviously, the administrators of other teams don't care. If they want something, they're going to lust after it, and they're going to do it publicly. And those who are in the position of Lane Kiffin, Like, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be wanted, right? And so you kind of just play the game, because just because this person over here wants you doesn't mean that's where you're going to go, but you can use that lust to improve your current position, new contract there in Oxford, or, oh, wait, maybe I can go get this job in the NFL as well. Like, that is how this sport has been done for a long time. It's just way more public now through the use of media, right? Because of social media, you get way more attention on certain things than you did 15, 20 years ago. But coaches have always done this. I mean, look what Nick Saban did when he was with the Dolphins, or even when he left LSU prior to that. Like, that's what coaches do. And if you're an Ole Miss fan, I understand. Like, yo, man, if you don't want to be here, then I don't want you here, right? We've all been in relationships like that. Like, if you don't love me the way I love you, then go on somewhere. But certainly the reality, and Lane Kiffin's not leaving that program with a chance to win a national championship this year, bro. So either you get with it or just wait, because he's going to be there. He's going to maximize this opportunity to maximize his next contract. He will have a new contract by February of next year, of 2026. Just matter if it's with Ole Miss or another team.
That is Michael Eaves from ESPN. Make sure you're watching him on SportsCenter and following him on X at Michael Eaves. That's at Michael Eaves. You're the best, buddy. Good to see you. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Be good.
Bye-bye. That's Michael Eaves from ESPN. You surprised to hear that? And I don't want to pretend that social media is like real life, because, you know, it's very easy to have a couple drinks and type whatever you want on Facebook. But I have noticed, like, I have friends who are Ole Miss fans, season ticket holders, former Ole Miss players, alums. I'm sort of surrounded by it. And I have watched them go from being excited about how this season is unfolding, like, we're awesome and we're fun and we've got a perfect coach for our community. I've watched them go from that to frustrated and like, yo, man, what are we, like, why are you putting us through this? Like, if you want to be here, which is what you keep saying, then, like, say something to end all this. We're trying to win a national championship, and every headline connected to you is about whether you're going to Florida or LSU or somewhere else. This is not the way this should be. I should be, as an Ole Miss fan, having a blast right now. And in reality, I'm not. I'm stressed out and pissed off.
You know, I think some of it is, and we haven't seen it this year, but like we have seen in the past him kind of call out the fan base a little bit about getting into the game and being seated when like it kick off and stuff like that. Obviously, I think the biggest thing is he is just, like Michael said, he's trying to get like the biggest contract, right? He's going to get a huge payday, and so
except that in fairness could already be done.
That could already be done.
If you want to stay at Ole Miss and you want to end this thing, you could already get your new contract done, just like Kurt Cignetti. Like the Penn State job opens and everybody's looking there. He gets a new deal done at Indiana. Matt Rule, same thing, gets a new deal done at Nebraska. If the goal was just to leverage this moment into the best deal I can get to stay where I'm at, you could have already done that.
That's fair. That's fair. Just back to like the things that he said, I do wonder if just some of it's like maybe not getting back at the fan base a little bit, but just, hey, I want this thing like full looking like Alabama, like at the start of every game. Like maybe it's just a little bit of getting back a little bit.
I think more than that, it's probably, I mean, who knows? You have to be inside Lane Kiffin's head to know exactly why he's handling this way. I don't know Lane Kiffin, right? Like I've talked to him before. We follow each other on Twitter. That's the extent of our relationship. So I don't know him. But I would assume, just like Michael Eaves said, we all have egos. His perhaps bigger than some, and for good reasons, valid reasons. And we all like to be loved and pursued. So I'm sure there's something intriguing and enjoyable about that. You know, there has been times when he was the Ole Miss coach, not lately, but when people would, even Ole Miss fans, like question this, question that, question this, whatever. Yeah. And maybe he's better than me, but I wouldn't forget stuff like that. So then you got this bigger school with these bigger things, and they're dying to have you. And yeah, I know all you guys love me now, but I also remember where we were a few years ago when you guys, I saw your tweet. I saw your little Instagram post questioning me. All right. And so now you guys want me to, I'm kind of liking what I'm feeling. There's probably some ego in there as well.
Yeah.
But that whatever joy comes from being pursued by somebody or something, like a new job type of thing, whatever joy comes from that initially, I think eventually gets replaced with just stress and uncertainty, because you really are on some level, until you make a decision where at the very least the parties involved know, but even better than that, publicly, until you make a decision, you are on some level stringing millions of people along when you're being pursued for college football jobs of this stature. And I can see how that would be fun initially. I can also see how it would stop being fun at some point.
Sure.
And I can also understand the frustration from the fans. Like, hey, we heard Nebraska's coach say he's flattered to have his name connected to these openings, but he wants to be at Nebraska, and he signed a new deal to stay there. We watched the Indiana coach get his name connected to some big jobs, bigger job than the one he has, at least historically. And he held up his hand, got a new deal done, and said, I'm here. I'm staying here. I'm not going there. So we've already watched 2 other coaches do that. Why can't you do that? I mean, the most obvious answer is because he either doesn't know that he wants to do that or is planning to leave. I have picked up on this. All along, I've just sort of said, I don't think he'll leave. I think he'll think about leaving. I think he'll be intrigued by the idea of it. He'll probably have some people in his life who maybe try to pull him in that direction. But ultimately, if I just watched a documentary about you and you're talking about you finally found peace and you finally feel at home and you're finally in a good place and your son's the star quarterback at a high school in Oxford and he's apparently having the time of his life, I just don't know why you would uproot all of that to go to a place where, you know, basically everybody except Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer get fired pretty quickly. I don't know, like, but that's me projecting. That's me saying, that's me telling you I wouldn't do that. Here's what I would do if I were Lane Kiffin. This is what I think. I would have my agent negotiate the best packages I can get for my assistants, the best recruiting budgets, NIL, revenue sharing. We would push it as far as we could go, and then we would stay. That's what I would do. But I don't know what he would do. The things that are important to me might not be important to him, and vice versa. I have, you know, I've got a lot of friends who are like, they're tied into Ole Miss, you know, like they're in group text with the athletic directors and stuff like that, right? And they're concerned. They're not optimistic that he will stay, which runs counter to my surface level evaluation of it. But my surface level evaluation of it is only me projecting. Why would you? They might build a statue of you in Oxford someday. They ain't building a statue of you at Florida. Probably not. You're not Steve Spurrier, and you're not Tim Tebow, right? They already got their statues. You could have your name on stuff at Ole Miss someday. You could go down in history as, you know, the greatest who's ever done it there, or one of them.
Yep.
You could have a place there forever if you wanted. And I just don't know that I would blow that up. You have proof of concept in a 12-team college football playoff that you can get there safely at Ole Miss. I won't lie and tell you that theoretically it couldn't be easier at a place like LSU or Florida, but you can do it at Ole Miss. Me projecting, I would stay. But the people at Ole Miss that I talk to are concerned, real concerned that he's not going to. Either way, we've reached a point where I think angst and frustration has set in for a good percentage of the fan base. They love what's happening on the football field, but they wish it was happening without all of the noise surrounded. They just wish they could focus on football as opposed to have to balance out being excited about their football team, balance it out with the possibility that they might lose their football coach just as soon as this season is over. Memphis fans had to deal with this with John Calipari, I guess, multiple years up until you know, he left for Kentucky. But Dan Wolken had a column about it this weekend, Yahoo Sports, that was really good and just sort of touched on the idea that this is not normal in any other business. Like, if you are the CEO of McDonald's and you're under contract, there is no scenario where you can just decide tomorrow. Burger King could just call you tomorrow and be like, hey, we want you to come to Burger King. We just fired our CEO. We would like you to be our new CEO. And you can just go. Like, that's not a real thing. You ready for this? If 92.9 called me today and was like, GP, we got to have you back, I can't go do that. I'm under contract. I wouldn't do it, just to be clear. But, like, I'm under contract. Most people's contracts forbid them from doing new things. But in college coaching, you can be under contract as the highest paid employee of an entire university. And the university down the street can call you and ask you if you want to change universities and pay you to do it. And there is an out in your contract that allows you to do it. This would not happen. You know where else it doesn't happen? Professional sports. If the Grizzlies had a coaching vacancy tomorrow, they can't just call the Lakers and say, we want to talk to JJ Redick. Bring us JJ Redick. And then ask JJ Redick if he wants to come. He's under contract. Now, you could compensate them if they would let JJ Redick out of their contract. But the idea that you could just pursue an NBA coach under contract, that's not really a thing. NFL. But in college athletics. And it's because these agents have taken these athletic directors, and just worked them over and over again. And now the standard contract among big-time college football and college basketball coaches is so lopsided, so slanted in the direction of the employee, not the employer, that these universities end up paying these ridiculous buyouts to fire a coach with an 11-year contract or something like that. Or you get this kind of noise just always connected to everything. Athletic directors with an opening can call any coach in America and try to get them to leave their job ASAP. There's an out in every one of these contracts, and that should not be the standard. I don't know exactly how you get it back to a more reasonable place, because ultimately athletic directors are trying to hire the best coaches they can hire, and you can draw a line and say, yeah, but we're not going to do it the way other universities do it. We're going to have language in the contract that says you're in violation of it. If you talk to another school, we'll have language in it that says you're in violation of it if you do A, B, and C, and you can either sign it or not. Like, that's probably where we should be. But if the other schools aren't going to line up with you, well, then the coach will say, okay, interesting conversation. I'm going to go to this other school that's going to give me a 10-year contract fully guaranteed. Right? So you got to have the industry collectively try to change it, and that's a hard thing to do when people are usually only looking out for themselves. Either way, interesting times. I didn't know necessarily that we would get to a place where Ole Miss fans are fed up with a coach of a one-loss team. But it appears that's on some level where we are right now. They just want I get the sense they just want it to be over, whatever it is. Like, yo, man, if you're going, go. And if you stay, stay. But, like, don't make me think about it. I'm tired of thinking about it, which makes sense. You understand it in your own personal life. You could probably apply that to certain things. If you're going to go, go. If you're going to stay, stay. But this in-between stuff, man, this ain't fun for me. I sense some Ole Miss fans have reached that point, but probably no resolution today. So we'll revisit this conversation another day. Be back with 5 more things.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds. GBWR.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back. It's available in the Grizzlies' den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com. Rip into bold color parallels, electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent. Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites Ja Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South to take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
It was a rough afternoon.
Oh, my God.
For the University of Memphis men's basketball team yesterday. Josh Pastner, former Tigers coach, came back to FedEx Forum to coach against his old employer for the first time, and he won the game, 92-78, which means the Tigers lost the game, 92-78, which means, oh, buddy, the Tigers are 1-2. And coming off of a loss of a UNLV team that entered 1-2 and had lost to Montana and UT Martin. Next up, a game against Purdue, a team that is currently ranked number 1 in the CBS Sports Top 25 and 1. How you feeling?
Well, that would be a hell of a way to turn the season around. I mean, the best way.
If you say so. Good luck.
I'm just saying, in theory. No, that was
UNLV down multiple starters.
Yeah,
coming off losses to Montana and UT Martin. They were a problem for you. I'd rather skip the Purdue game than try to turn it around against them.
Fair enough. That yesterday was super concerning. Obviously, the loss, it's a bad loss. It's going to be a bad loss. That was rough. And I think, too, man, like, I'll just say it, like, the crowd was really bad. That's worrisome to me as, like, a Memphis fan.
I've been talking about it for years. For years. It's you can look at the numbers, or you can just use your eyeballs and look in the arena. But there's nobody there relative to the way it used to be. And I made this point over and over again last season, in part because I just make points over and over again all the time. Last season was as good as it gets.
Mm.
I mean,
no, you have a really good team.
Reasonably,
a really good team last year.
Last season's as good as it gets. You had a team that was ranked in the top 25 pretty much all season. Win your conference. Get a top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. You got an All-American guard. And the head coach is your proudest alum. Like, that is, if I can't get you to care about that, what are you going to care about?
Yeah, and I mean, he even alluded to it like in the preseason when he talked about the fandemonium, needing to bring that back and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly how to pinpoint it. I will say I do think, you look at this team, and it's why when the game started, I was like, oh, I'm nervous about this, because it's kind of the energy's not great. Like going into it, I felt a little nervous going into the game. But I do just wonder, like, if, we don't know a lot of these players yet. We don't. I do think that, and it's hard in this day and age in college basketball. You're constantly building a new roster every year.
If you're constantly building a new roster every year, guess what? That's you. You don't have to. It's not the rules. You don't have to build a new roster every year.
I do think there's got to be some kind of connection, man. Like I do, and I'm not saying like we need more Memphis kids. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying like because like dude, one of the CDR, like that guy's a fan favorite. I mean, it's you don't have to be a Memphis kid to become a fan favorite at University of Memphis. I do think there's got to be some kind of connection. Like Dane Danger, PJ Haggerty not being able to be brought back, both were key pieces. And Dane was different because it's a waiver, but PJ Haggerty's awesome at Kansas State right now. I just think maybe not having that fan connection to start the season is tough.
I think player retention is a real thing in college athletics now, and it has been especially problematic at Memphis. It still matters, and it is costing the Tigers in a variety of ways. Not being able to bring back players year after year is costing them in a variety of ways. I do believe that having no real attachment to any of the people in the uniforms, having no familiarity with them, like I could line up the whole team right now and put them in, normal clothes like you and I are dressed in, and then we could just quiz the chat. All right, who's this guy? I don't know. Nobody knows. You might recognize Aaron Bradshaw, I guess, Sincere Parker, but it's like, barely. And it's so that's part of it. Another part of it is I think they've just lost an entire generation of fans. Like my kids have not grown up caring about Memphis basketball at all. They don't care. They don't even really know what it is such a striking difference from my childhood. Like, my boys are now, as of this weekend, 11 and 9, my little guys. And my 11-year-old will turn 12 in December next month. They've never seen Memphis make a run in the NCAA tournament. They, right now, could not name you one Memphis basketball player. Not one. All right? I could name you every Memphis basketball player when I was the same age. Mm-hmm. And every Cincinnati basketball player. And every Louisville basketball player. And they don't know any of it. I think part of it, sure, is familiarity with the players, but you could bring the whole team back from last season, and my kids might know PJ Haggerty. It just has not connected with them, which is kind of wild given my job and, my history. I grew up a Tiger basketball fan. I went to school there, but it has not connected with my kids at all. And I think the biggest reason is because they've never seen any sort of magical run that is the type of thing that can draw you in. For instance, Sister Jean just passed. And do you realize, we didn't even know who she was till she was 100. Mm-hmm. She was always Sister Jean. She was always at these games. She was always around that basketball program. Nobody knew until they went on a postseason run, and then it becomes a story, and then she's the most famous, literally the most famous nun in America. It's those types of things that can make people pay attention, and then you fall in love. And there has been nothing,
I think, to
make any young person fall in love, particularly when your basketball interest in this market was diverted to Core 4 and then Ja Morant. It was 2009 the last time Memphis made what could be considered a run in the NCAA tournament. It is 2025. There are students at the University of Memphis who can't remember what Memphis basketball postseason success, Sweet 16 stuff looks like. They've never experienced it in their lives, or they can't remember it because they were too little. Students on that campus.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I
agree.
There's been no runs since John Calipari left, and young people grew up being more interested in Zach and Tony and Mike and Mark and then Ja and Jaron, that Tiger basketball has just gotten lost. And to me, that's the most concerning thing. Yeah, they lost a game yesterday, but this was a Sunday afternoon basketball game against a program that's been down for a while, but it's still a brand UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
And your former coach was coming back, and it just wasn't a thing. I liked that Josh got a nice reception.
Me too.
From the people who were there. I thought that was deserved and sweet. It was sweet. It was a sweet moment, and he seemed to appreciate it. And I saw his father in the crowd and his wife in the crowd and his kids, and I was just glad they all got to experience that because they experienced some ugly times here.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know, like it was hard. I know, especially for Josh's wife. And it got really ugly at the end. You know, it's not fun to wake up every day, go to work, and feel like the whole city wants you to not work anymore. And when you are a Grizzlies coach or a Tigers coach, like it can start to feel that way. It feels like this is my home and everybody doesn't want me here anymore. Like that's tough, man.
Mm.
I imagine that's tough. And so they had some hard times. And I thought it was nice to see him get that moment.
Yeah.
It was brief, but it was sweet. And but more to my point, there was nobody there.
Yeah,
there was nobody there.
I think all that said,
you back up 15 years and do that exact same game on that exact same day, and you get 12, 13,000.
It's true.
And now there's nobody there.
Yeah, it was concerning for sure.
And now so that's just state of Tiger basketball broadly speaking. Like this is where we are with the program. Let's focus on the team because that's the more immediate issue. I mean, you can't fix the problem with the program when you got a team that's getting its brains beat in. And that might be what we're about to experience. Do you know what their projected record is now? In the non-league portion of their schedule, according to KenPom, if you look at their non-league schedule, they have, I believe it's 13 non-league games. One of them has to be added to the schedule because it's the second game in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. It'll either be against Texas Tech or Wake Forest. Spoiler alert, they'll be an underdog regardless of who they play. They're going to be an underdog both games this week in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. Big underdog against Purdue, and then an underdog. It'd be a big underdog to Texas Tech and probably a slight underdog to Wake Forest, but they'd be an underdog either way. So, 13 non-league games. They've already played 3 of them. They're 1-2. Do you know what KenPom projects them to go in those games?
4-9?
4-9 is where we're at.
Yeah.
4-9.
Because it's what, like Alabama, there's Alabama State and New Orleans.
According to KenPom, right now,
the winnable
you've got the win over San Francisco.
Yeah.
They project you to beat Southern Illinois, project you to beat New Orleans, project you to beat Alabama State. That is it. They project you to lose every other non-league game.
I mean, for me, like, I'm just, and I heard him, Penny's comments post-game, and he talked about, like, just, it's also concerning that, like, you bring in all these, in theory, like, high-level guys, and he's already saying high-level talents, and he's already saying, like, we're gonna rally around Julius Tedford and Majak, I'm excited about both those guys too, but that's concerning because we're 3 games into the season. Like, it's
but let's think about this. They spent real money on some of these players, and some of these players are immensely talented, or at least they possess the type of talent once upon a time in their life that had them showing up pretty high on recruiting list, right? Aaron Bradshaw, famously a 5-star recruit. He's not a good basketball player.
No, they brought him off the bench.
And he's never been a good college basketball player. So, you ready for that?
Penny brought him off the bench yesterday, and that was clearly a sign of, like, dude, we need more out of you, okay? We're going to bring you off the bench. Like, we need to see. He did not respond to that at all. He was terrible yesterday.
Where's your heart at?
I don't think he's going to help this team at all this
let me
season.
Explain something
Maybe
about,
in the American. I don't know.
Let me explain something about him that should go without saying, but I'll say it. Do you know why he's at Memphis? Because nobody can get anything out of him. That's why he's here. He shouldn't be here. You know where he should be?
Ohio State.
The NBA.
Yeah.
Based on what he was coming out of high school, with the right stuff from here up and the proper focus, he should be in the NBA. He's physically gifted. he looks like an NBA player, just walking around. Not when he plays, but just walking around.
For sure.
Just walking around, he looks like an NBA player.
When they tip off, yes, you notice that guy immediately.
But John Calipari couldn't get anything at Kentucky. So that's how he ended up at Ohio State. Then Jake Diebler couldn't get anything out of him at Ohio State. So that's how he ends up in the American. This is who you paid for. Now, I'm not using revisionist history here. Like, you got to pay for somebody. And he is talented. And in theory, he should be able to physically overwhelm most opposing bigs in the American. You play in a mid-major league. Yeah. He's a former 5-star prospect. He should be able to flourish in a mid-major league. But I don't know.
And you also lose Dane Danger, who is someone that you hope to get back, who we know wanted to come back. Yep. So that's you're scrambling a little bit there.
I understand, and that was a bad break because I think you could make a reasonable argument that if this kid's going to get a waiver and this kid's going to get a waiver, why can't we get one for Dane Danger?
That's right.
I think that was totally reasonable and unfortunate. But they invested real money in Aaron Bradshaw, who has never been a good college basketball player and who had off-the-court issues at Ohio State and who was a part of a disappointing team at Ohio State. Okay? Aaron Bradshaw, maybe this is a better way to put it, was on a UK team that got John Calipari pushed to Arkansas and then was on an Ohio State team that went 9-11 in the Big Ten. That's who he is. Then they invested in Doug McDaniel as well.
Mm-hmm.
He played 2 years at Michigan. They went 18-16 his freshman season, went 8-24 his sophomore season. He was suspended for academics, only played home games for a stretch of one of those seasons. That's who you bought. So there's 2 high-priced transfers that came from power conference programs, but neither one of them's been a part of winning, and both of them had off-the-court issues. Try building a team around that. I'm not saying there's no way it could work, because if I'm being honest, I just thought that whatever happened in the non-league schedule, Memphis has the most talented roster in the American. You get to the American, you'll just out-talent people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that's true anymore. But you invested in people who have never won anything at the collegiate level of note. And at least in the case of Bradshaw and McDaniel, and also people who had shown the capability to run into issues away from the basketball court. Meantime, just as I was thinking through this last night, I was at Big Ten Media Day last month, and among others, I talked to Greg Gard at Wisconsin, specifically for a second about a transfer he took, Nick Boyd, because Nick Boyd had, before he even got to Wisconsin, he'd already played in 3 NCAA tournaments. He was on the Florida Atlantic Final Four team, just a winner. And I asked Greg Gard, I said, how much does that matter to you? Not just that he's a talented player, but that he was at FAU and he won. He was at San Diego State and he won. He's like, that's why we got him. I want winners. I want people who know how to win. He knows how to win. He knows how to do other stuff. But that we didn't take him just because he can dribble, pass, and shoot. We took him in part because he comes from winning cultures, and we are trying to establish a winning culture. And you know what Nick Boyd is doing right now? He's a leading scorer on an undefeated Wisconsin team that is nationally ranked. There's something to be said for winners. And I hesitate to use the word losers because it's probably too harsh. But there's something to be said for winners and something less to be said for people who don't win as often.
Well, you look at some of the big guys that he brought in last year, and not PJ coming from Tulsa, but Dane Danger came from Illinois. I believe they were an NCAA tournament team before then. And then Tyrese Hunter obviously went to the NCAA tournament with Texas. Like, he did have winners last year, and it showed, especially in that non-league.
I think they just got caught. I think he bought a bad basketball team. That's what it looks like. It looks like he bought a bad basketball team, and now he's in it because his schedule does not lighten up. I mean, it gets, basketball's weird. You can play terribly for 40 minutes and lose to a bad team, and then play well for 40 minutes and beat a good team. But if you can't handle UNLV in your own building on a Sunday, I don't know how you're dealing with Purdue on a Thursday on a neutral court, where Purdue fans will be there probably filling up the arena because they think they're headed toward a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be a hostile crowd against you, and you're dealing with Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Wren. Good luck. It's going to get rough. If you're into the computer stuff, Memphis dropped from 54th to 76th at KenPom.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remove the preseason bias over at barttorvik.com and just say, hey, just based on the basketball that's been played since we started this season on November 3rd, where does Memphis rank? And you know where that is? 117th in the country, right in between Nevada and Western Kentucky. And you're exactly right. When you hear Penny more or less tell us, I think my most expensive players don't care. That's a real problem.
Yeah. My hope is that, because I think the immediate future is very concerning, my hope is that he can find a good collection of guys that play hard and play harder than, what we saw yesterday, to where, like you said, they get into American play and they're more talented than everybody, and they found the right group of guys with this group that actually are playing hard in that starting lineup. That's my hope.
Sure, my hope too.
Yep.
My fear would be by the time they get there, they got beaten up so bad it's just splintered.
No room for error at all.
I don't even mean that. Forget all that. I'm not even talking about.
You're just a bad team and you're dejected.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about they're going to mess up their at-large hopes. Bro.
For sure.
We should not even be talking about at-large hopes.
That's fine.
All right? I mean, this is why some coaches schedule light in the non-league portion of their schedule. Ron Hunter at Tulane.
Yeah, which I hate, and I hope this doesn't change things.
But the reason some coaches do it is they'll say, GP, you want me to go schedule aggressively and start 4-9? And then I lose my team. You cannot build losing.
But last year it worked out perfect. So
you had a different team last year.
That's right. I'm just saying I don't want to use whatever happens here as the excuse for, well, look what happened last year. We're not scheduled a good non-con.
I hear you. What I'm trying to say is the reason some coaches avoid these schedules is because, in theory, when I get to my league,
we'll be ready.
I should be better than everybody else in my league. But what if we get beat up for 2 straight months? Loss after loss after loss. Now my 2 best players, they hate each other. Because this guy's taking too many shots and this guy's not passing enough.
Yeah.
Losing causes problems. Losing. You don't think the Grizzlies locker room would sound better or different if they were 10-4 instead of 4-10? Like, it's hard to build and stay together when the losses are just stacking up.
Mm-hmm.
And my fear is that the losses stack up because the schedule's tough. And you've already got, according to the coach, talented players who aren't wired the right way. I mean, they already don't care. You going to get them to care when they're 3-7? They didn't care when they were 1-1, according to the coach. You going to get them to care when you're on a 4-game losing streak? That's the concern for me. And by the time you get to January, some of these other American teams, they didn't play the schedule. So maybe they don't have any good wins, but they got wins. And they feel good about themselves.
Yes.
And they think they're good even if they're not. Whereas you feel like shit. We're 3-7, headed for another game. Just by the time you get to your conference schedule, you could be so beat up and splintered that now the conference schedule doesn't go the way you want it to go. There's a lot of reasons to think what we are about to watch is going to be the worst season of Penny Hardaway's college coaching career.
God, I hope not.
I hope not too, but there's more reasons to think that than there are to not think that, and they were on full display yesterday inside FedEx Forum. Next up, Purdue on Thursday. Good luck.
Number 2.
Well, the football team sucks too.
Jesus.
My God.
That was so painful.
What are we doing?
That was so
2 weeks
painful.
ago, we were going to the college football playoff.
Man.
Now we can't even go to the American Conference Championship game.
I knew coming into it and that this wasn't going to be an easy game for them. And obviously you're dejected coming off that Tulane loss. But I said to you, man, and damn it if it didn't come true, that I was like, okay, your path to the American Championship game doesn't look great right now, but you just need a couple other things to happen for you, and you can maybe still back your way into it. Well, South Florida lost this weekend, okay? Now, still, Tulane and North Texas, they could both win out, and it wouldn't even matter. Whatever, but you needed one thing to happen, and it happened for you. And so you just needed to win to keep your hopes alive to get to that championship game. And, man, they did it all the way up until 1 minute left in the game. And I couldn't believe that it went down like that. Like, when they went down and when they got the turnover in that fourth quarter and went down and kicked the field goal, I was like, let's go. This is going to be a nice road win for them because East Carolina is very good at home, and they've had a good season.
Fairness, the Tigers were underdogs at kickoff.
That's right. Yeah. And so it was like, man, like, let's go. Like, again, it may not happen because you don't control your own destiny anymore, but it's starting to fall right, and let's just win this game. And then next week is a huge weekend again, and it just it did. I mean, it was sixth place, 75 yards in a minute 21 for East Carolina to score the touchdown and win the game. Rough.
And Ryan Silverfield, this is not hyperbole. He is costing himself millions of dollars.
Man,
it was who knows what's real and what isn't, but there were reports several weeks back that he's the leading candidate at Arkansas, which means if that holds up, you either go take an SEC job for lots of money or you get a new deal at Memphis for lots of money.
Right.
Well, good luck trying to get the Arkansas job now. I mean, how does Arkansas sell him to you? You can't sell him to your fan base now. Hey, guys, here's our new coach. We want him to win SEC championships someday. Was he shown any ability to do that? No, never finished better than third in the American. Well, did he have a bad program in the American? No, actually the best. The one that's supposed to win the championships. That's the one he had. It never won one? No. Never got it to the championship game either? No. And that's who, so good luck there. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but that's a hard sell. That's a hard sell. And then good luck trying to renegotiate your contract at Memphis. That big raise you might think you deserve. Is the athletic director going to be motivated to give it to you after this? Who's he scared of losing you to? Is he even scared of losing you? That would be the interesting thing. What if somebody came in and did put a big offer on the table? Would Memphis just do what Kentucky more or less did with John Calipari a few years ago? That's what happened with John. Arkansas came in, made a big offer, and you know what Kentucky did?
Go ahead.
You can go if you want to. Mm-hmm. We're not going to try to keep you. Oh, it's what Memphis did with Josh Pastner. Georgia Tech came in, made an offer. They said, you should go. He's like, I don't know if I want to go. You should go. But I don't really know if I want to. Here's $1 million. Go. Get out of here. I'd be interested to know what happens there. School comes in, offers Ryan Silverfield a contract. How does Memphis respond? Do you know what you would do? Do you know what you think you would do?
I mean, like, here's what I'll say. The dreaming about college football playoffs is great, and that was a lot of fun. And like that's I want to do that more often. For me, it's you got to with this roster and the resources you have, you got to be able to play for conference championships, and we haven't been able to do that yet. Like that's the biggest issue for me.
I mean, here's the seasons: tied for third, tied for seventh, tied for eighth, fourth, tied for third, and right now you're sitting at 4 and 3 in the American. With you once again will not play in the conference championship game. I don't
mean every year, but I mean sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
How about not every year, but just the year where you are projected deep in the season to represent the group of 5 in the college football playoff. Can you win it that year? Can you get to the conference championship game that year? We don't need every year. Can you do it that year?
Yeah.
Can you do it ever? Because you haven't. And I say all this, I hope it's clear, with no emotion whatsoever. Like, I like Ryan Silverfield.
Me too.
I love the University of Memphis. I don't like having these conversations. I'm just speaking plainly and factually to you. This is not fun. We like setting stages and urinating on Golden Hurricanes.
Hell yeah, we do.
And talking crazy to Razorbacks and
I was ready to get wild.
Like just the idea of Memphis is going to Georgia for a first-round college football playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was awesome.
I was about to bring the Navy in here.
I know
and we
what
were
you-
going to fight
I know,
on air.
I know what you were going to do, Bennett. I know you had big plans. And so this stinks. It just stinks. And I get it. I'm not trying to tell any Memphis fan not to be frustrated. Yes, your program is better than it has historically been. You win games in ways that you didn't used to win games. You are a nationally respected program on some level. But you're not what you should be. You're not what you should be.
All that said, I stand on. I've said this to you a lot of times. I think winning is very important, and you're not right now. You're not. I'm just saying, like, whatever they do, the most important thing for this program, in my opinion, is to continue to be a winning program.
Okay, and here's what somebody would counterpoint you on. Why wouldn't we continue to be a winning program? Every coach since Larry Porter has won here. And the reason is because we decided to prioritize football. Perhaps on some level at the expense of basketball in some ways. But we have prioritized football. And now we fund it better than any other football program is funded in the American. So you're concerned about winning. Buddy, I got news for you. Any competent college football coach can win at this rate at Memphis. The last two won at a higher rate. You've got the best funded program in your conference. You don't think I can find somebody else to finish third?
If you were going to do that, you better hope so. Because I'm saying I don't think.
I'm telling you that is what some fans think.
I feel you.
And I bet you some people in the athletic department think the exact same thing.
Winning 3 games for this program would be an absolute disaster. Like we talk about, like you talked about, like losing, a fan base, or at least like an era of fans with Tiger basketball. Man, I'm with you.
Winning 3 games a year would be terrible. I agree.
And we're just talking through it.
I agree. You know what is also terrible?
Yeah.
Constantly underachieving. Yeah, losing all the time is hard on fans. You know what is similarly hard? Constantly underachieving. Never getting where you're supposed to get to. That drives fan bases crazy too. And at some point, this is the way sports work. If you are in a situation where the guy you got is good, but you consistently think it should be better and it just never is, for one reason or another, it just never gets there, then, well, that's how James Franklin gets unemployed.
That's true.
I mean, that is how it happens.
Now, I will.
They say, hey, man, we don't think you're not good. We just are tired of never getting where we think we should be.
Okay, here's the other thing, though, is and it's been bad these past couple weeks, but do we throw out, like, everything good that happened this season? Because, like,
what good happened this season?
Arkansas was a blast.
Arkansas fired his coach. They stink.
Okay, USF was a great win. I mean, there have been really great moments this season. And we're talking for weeks about the college football playoff and competing for a conference championship. So I don't think it's been some just abject disaster this season.
I think when Kirk Herbstreit is on television talking about how you're projected to be the 12th seed in the college football playoff, and 2 weeks later, you're a 3-loss team in your league, and once again going to miss your conference championship game, I think that's maybe not a disaster, but it's close to one.
It's a rough. It's a rough finish.
You squandered his historically unprecedented things that were at your fingertips. I didn't even need you to go out and beat Tennessee and LSU to go to the college football playoff. You know what I needed you to do? Beat UAB and Tulane and East Carolina. How about just beat one of them?
Yeah.
And it's not as bad as a 3-win season, but I'm telling you, fans will get just 3-win seasons. You get enough of those, you know what fans do? They just clock out. They just forget that you exist. That's how you get back to 12,000 people at Simmons Bank, right?
Yeah.
3-win season, you just forget about that. It's these that grab you and drag you along and take you on a ride and then leave you disappointed. Those get you.
Yeah.
And these are starting to stack up on him. They're starting to stack up on him.
Oh, man. What an awful weekend.
The worst.
Dude, it was the worst weekend. Like, I was trying to think back. I can't remember the last time, like, Memphis sports weekend that was this bad. I'll have to go back and look. But this one was rough.
I mean, you lose, the Grizzlies lose an 8th game in 9 outings.
But more Ja getting
your
hurt
franchise
was the
point
worst.
guard
Yeah, that
limps
was
off the court with what is described as calf soreness.
And he looked good before he got hurt.
Tiger football blows it. Tiger basketball looks like, oh my God. Yeah, it's rough.
Rough, man.
Yeah. Hey,
I'll try to be more positive as the week goes along.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, as it pertains strictly to Memphis football, it's now over. There's nothing you can do to fix this. This is what you have to set in all off season. Like we can't bring Ryan Silverfield.
We do have a big Thanksgiving game versus Navy. It's like the only game on TV.
It's over.
Okay.
All right. You can care about it if you want to, but everything that you wanted as a Memphis football fan, that's over.
Okay.
And so there was a scenario just 2 weeks ago. Not just a realistic scenario, but the most likely scenario where this thing unfolds the way it unfolds. Memphis goes to the college football playoff. We all get the T-shirts. We go down to Georgia. We watch them lose by 4 touchdowns, whatever. But man, what a woo!
I've never been to Athens.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We watch them win a conference championship game and then watch them go to Athens and we get all that. And then 3 weeks later, when things settle down a little bit, we bring Ryan Silverfield in and we're like, man, Ryan, that was amazing. And it's wild that you turned down Arkansas to stay at Memphis. And so what was it like winning your first conference and we're having fun, man, and everybody feels great. And there's nothing you can do now to get us back to that place. Nothing. You beat Navy this weekend. Or on Thanksgiving, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, you're 9-3 and going nowhere. Going to go to a nothing bowl game and play somebody nobody cares about.
You don't know that it'll be nothing. You don't know that it'll be a nothing bowl game. What if they go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
I do like Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
I do enjoy a Pop-Tart.
I bet I could get you excited about that.
I bet you can't.
Okay.
It's over. It's over. Like,
God.
There's nothing you can do. You can win that game and you'll finish 9-3, and then you can go to a bowl game and win that and you'll finish 10-3, and then you can poll Memphis fans and be like, so how do you feel? And they're all going to say, that's what? Again? We did this again? Like, to me, that's the worst place to be as a coach when you had high expectations, you didn't meet them, and now you just have to sit in it. And there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you can bring in a recruiting class, star quarterback. People get excited again. There will be a day when this season's over when Memphis will sign something out of the transfer portal, and it'll be like a significant thing, and it'll be like, oh, Memphis just got a good one, and you'll hit the tweet and you'll go to the replies, and it's just going to be negative stuff. Oh, good. We're going to have the best roster in the American again? Oh, wow. How does that go? Always. You can't even do anything to make people feel differently about you. You are stuck in this place until you undo it on the field. You are always going to be labeled by your own fan base as an underachiever until you achieve what it is you should have achieved this season. That's a hard place to be. Again, I say this I'm just speaking factually to you.
Yes.
I hate this.
I know.
I hate this. I don't want this for Ryan.
Yep.
I don't want this for my alma mater. I don't want this for Ed Scott. This sucks. But that is where I'm telling you the truth. That's where we're at. There is nothing he can do to change the perception of him now with his own fans until he does it on the field. And you ready for this? He can't do it on the field for more than a year from now.
I did have a good Memphis weekend, though. I did something positive, like a fun Memphis thing.
What'd you do? That was
I took my kids to the Enchanted Forest.
How was that?
It was amazing. That's like a Memphis staple. 70 years. Those little animatronics have been operating. Is it the Pink Palace now?
I've been to
You took your kids to the Enchanted Forest before.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to like uplift a little bit. That was like a fun
I feel like
Memphis
memory.
I've
been, but
I take my kids every year. They love it. They love it. It's
well, you should take my kids.
I love going. I'll take your kids.
Take my kids. I don't
bring them up here. We'll go after the show.
Okay, good. I don't want to.
Yeah, we'll have a blast. We'll take a picture with Santa. It'll be awesome.
That'll be nice. All right, you take my kids.
Okay.
I'll do other things with my kids. I'd let you do the holiday stuff with them.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's tough out there. Thank God for the Enchanted Forest. You know what? Let's move on.
Okay.
Thank God.
Wait, no, this is a good Memphis story.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank God for this Memphis story.
Number 3.
Final score 2-1. Memphis over Illinois.
And buddy, we were screaming at the TV because Brooks was in here. He went on with Vernon last week to talk about this, and I was talking to him out here and just talking about how, like, their crowds are getting better. They had like 2,000 people out there for this game on Saturday night. But I was like, man, it's just so cool. Like, the ESPN Plus thing is so cool.
We can actually watch this.
I can watch every game.
That's right.
Yeah, I can watch. So I get invested in this team because I've been able to watch them a ton this season.
I was out last week traveling to New York when they got the seed that they got, the 7 seed, which is just outrageous. They were ranked 3rd in the country.
It's insane.
Insane.
Whatever.
I mean, I want to be clear. I don't know anything about women's soccer other than Brooks is amazing. That's all I know.
Okay, but just on the surface level, if you're like the best team all season and you have one loss and then get demoted to a 7th seed.
I mean, that's outrageous.
Yes.
That's outrageous. I took that personally.
Me too.
Not to sound like Michael Jordan, but I took that personally on behalf of those young women over at the University of Memphis.
Yeah.
Well, now you just have to prove the committee wrong, right? So you go out, you handle Illinois, and now it's down to Fort Worth for a game against TCU on Thursday. They're in the second round of the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in program history. We need to attach our emotions to women's soccer.
I'm attached, man. I was watching that game. We were super into it. Illinois, their goalie, my God, she had like 10 stops. It was insane. Memphis is good, dude. They are so good. They probably could have won that game by more, but like I said, Illinois' goalkeeper just went crazy in that game.
It's also like amazing. It's a sport we don't talk about much and people don't follow too closely.
Yeah.
But it's not that indifferent than what Mark Few has built at Gonzaga. Like, that is held up as like, how do you build a basketball powerhouse in Spokane, Washington, out of the West Coast Conference? How does this happen? Like, when I was in college, you can look this up. Memphis was in one of those multi-team events where, like, before you go to New York to play or wherever to play, like, you get some teams to come in and play. And Gonzaga was one of them. And I'll never forget this. I had never heard of Gonzaga. Never even knew that it was a thing that existed. I watched college basketball my whole life. I don't think I knew Gonzaga existed. And I just remember it was like, they just ran circles around Memphis. I mean, and this was their first great team. I think they went to the Elite Eight that year. But in November, or whenever early in the season when Memphis played, it was like, who is this? And oh my God, how bad is Memphis if they just lost to this team? Where are they against? Spokane. And turns out they were good.
Right.
But that's where it started. And all these years later, people look at that and they go, how do you build that there in that league? Well, that's what Brooks has done in women's soccer. He has built, perhaps it doesn't line up perfectly because Gonzaga's been to Final Fours and all that stuff, but Brooks has built a nationally relevant, top-shelf women's soccer program outside of the traditional power structure at the University of Memphis, largely by recruiting international players. It is wild. It is wild.
Mm-hmm.
We need to attach our emotions to women's soccer.
I'm attached. I'll be locked in. I've never hated any team more than TCU women's soccer.
I hate them too.
I might kill a frog live on air to set the stage.
A horned one?
You want me to set the time? I don't know if I can get a horned frog, but I got frogs in my backyard.
You would murder a frog?
If it led us to victory, yeah. That's how down I am right now.
How would you go about murdering a frog?
Just with a rock. You just set it on the table and
Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
Do you see this Instagram video going around of this guy in like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and he's talking to like this old man, and it's just a setup, like the guy's just out there playing around, but he's like walks up to this old man. This is what you just said made me think of. And he walks up to this old man. He's like, "Hey, excuse me." And the old man's like, I mean, he looks like he lives in Home Depot, and the guy's like, "Hey man, I need your help. I'm trying to buy a board. My grandfather is having an affair with my wife, and he got her pregnant with twins, and I've got to handle this, and I'm going to beat him to death with a board. Do you know what kind of board would be best for that?" And the guy, without even flinching, is like, "Come on, I'll show you."
He's been there before.
and he walks him over to like the lumber section. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And he walks him over to the lumber section, and he's talking him through it the whole time. And then he gets this one board, and it's got like a spiky thing, like a pokey at the end. I don't pokey. What am I even saying? It's got like I don't know. It looks like it. Look. And so the guy's like, "So you got this one. You can wrap your hands around that real good. And then but then also, if you need that,
you can shank them."
Anyway, that's what you just reminded me of when you talked about killing a frog with a rock. That's violent, Bennett. You think you're that violent?
Wouldn't be my first time.
Would you feel comfortable? Like, would you? Because I wouldn't. I could not do this. If you set a frog right there and said, "GP, here's $500 and here's a rock. Crush that frog with that rock." I could not do that.
You want to know?
You could do that?
As a child, the reason I said that is because it like popped in my head because I did that before as a child, and it's like one of those memories, like core childhood memories that haunts me. Like other kids like dared me. I was like 8, and other kids like dared me to do it, and I did it, and it like I think I like went home and cried.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's like causing. I mean, I guess that's what hunters do. You know, they just go out there and kill things. Yeah. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I could not do it.
I mean,
you could not give me $500 to just. I would say I just can't do that.
I don't think I'd be allowed to do it. I mean, we're not even allowed to show like our favorite death videos.
I know, but I'm saying you came over to my house. You brought me 3 things: a frog, a rock, and $500. And said, "GP, the $500 is yours. You just got to take this rock and crush this frog right here at your kitchen table." I couldn't. I don't think I could do that.
Oh, could I do it?
That would be a hard thing.
I like frogs. I mean, we go to the zoo and look at the frogs at the herpetarium all the time.
I don't even like frogs. I don't like frogs at all. I don't care about them. But I couldn't take a frog's life with a rock.
The only frogs I don't like are horned frogs.
That's fair.
And they're going down.
They're going down Thursday.
They're going down.
Hey, let's beat TCU. They're old conference members. They used to be in a conference with us, and then they left us.
They used to think about us. Now they don't think about us anymore. We're going to make them pay for it.
You used to live in our neighborhood, but then you thought you were too good for our neighborhood. So you moved off to a Big 12 neighborhood. Fine. You pay for it Thursday in women's soccer. You pay for it Thursday in women's soccer.
You're damn right.
Let's go get these horned frogs.
Let's go.
All right.
Number 4.
Jake Paul has announced his next boxing match. It's going to be next month in Miami, streamed on Netflix, and his opponent is Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, and I saw Chris Mannix talking about this, and he was like, "Listen, say what you want about Jake Paul, but like this is like a real dude that he's fighting who's way bigger than him,
way bigger,
yeah,
taller, heavier, and like a former heavyweight world champion, Olympic gold medal. This is a real guy.
Yes,
and he's not 48 years old. He's 36.
Right.
And he's not what he was. But this
ain't Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson.
No. I mean, the early odds I saw have Jake Paul as an underdog, significant underdog, which makes you wonder, like, why is he doing this? It seems like the business of Jake Paul relies on him winning more than it is making reputable fights.
Well, I think you have to get the big name to sell the fight, right? Like, you have to keep...
I think he can just sell fights by himself now.
I think people are probably done at this point with like you fighting, ex-UFC guys or stuff like that.
But,
yeah.
Okay, perhaps. It's like, all right, man, until you get in a ring with somebody real, we ain't
I'm
doing
not going
this.
to care.
But
yeah.
maybe. I'd still think people would turn on Netflix and watch this guy. But even if what you're saying is true, like his people came to him and they said, all right, this has worked well, but we got to put you in there with somebody real because people are starting to tune out. People don't care anymore. People are onto the gimmick. You're just talking wild, getting in a ring with somebody who's not a boxer or somebody who's too old or somebody who's whatever, or maybe somebody who's on the take and not even really trying. But like the public is done with that part of this. We've got to take it to a new place. Fine. There's a big difference between fighting Gervonta Davis and Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
I mean, Gervonta Davis is a little guy. This is a big guy. So I get if your argument is right, you got to get into the ring. If we're going to keep doing this and keep commanding the money that we're commanding and the audiences that we've been getting, then we've got to get in there with somebody real. We got to get in there with somebody where Chris Mannix will immediately jump on Twitter and be like, oh, wow, this is real. You're going to want to watch this. I'd say, fine. But let's do it with somebody who weighs 145 pounds. Not this. Not this. You ready? I'll watch it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch it. And unless it goes down in a way that at least Chris Mannix and other people like him don't think is likely, you could turn in just to see Jake Paul get beat up a little bit. And perhaps that's the trick. Maybe that's how you get a billion people watching, on the idea that you will get to watch this person who has become one of the more famous internet personalities in the world. You get to watch him get his head knocked off. I don't know.
I'm in.
I don't know. This all broke like right before the show started, right. So I haven't had time to really dive in and like. Somebody explain to me why Jake Paul is doing this. I get fighting Mike Tyson. You bring a big audience and he can't move. So that seems fine. And I get fighting Gervonta Davis because like he's a little guy and you can just lean on him and, just lean on him. But now this is a real fighter, a real boxer, and you don't have physical advantages over him outside of perhaps speed, but I don't even know if that's there. This is a real fight, and one where he could be on the wrong side of it. Netflix, next month. We'll get you ready for it when it's time.
Number 5.
Rest in peace, Todd Snider.
Yeah, man. That was sad to see over the weekend.
Awful. 59 years old. Brilliant singer-songwriter and hilarious storyteller. Are you too young for Todd Snider?
No, I'm very familiar.
In many ways, didn't get his start in Memphis, but developed a relationship with Keith Sykes, who is a well-known songwriter who has made his home here forever. Like I've known Keith for 25 years, and Keith was, I believe, the main draw of Todd moving to Memphis at one point. And then, was playing songs around town, most notably at the Daily Planet, a little bar over by the University of Memphis. And his first album was actually called Songs from the Daily Planet. His album references a bar that was over by the University of Memphis. He's got songs about, Frazier and songs about Horseshoe Lake. And there's real Memphis area influence. And I've obviously seen him a million times. I didn't know Todd, but we have mutual friends, and I was around him some. Like my old roommate Corey played with him a lot, and they were close. And I've seen Corey's played with him at like the Orpheum or something, and I was at that show, and you'd always end up in these little rooms and circles and stuff. But I appreciated him more from a distance. And, he struggled with things that too often people living that lifestyle struggle with. But the way this all unfolded over the past month is just awful stuff. Because he was in the news recently, even before this weekend.
Yep, I remember.
He just had a new album come out in October. And he was getting ready to tour. And he was in Salt Lake City and reportedly was assaulted, like a violent attack, that you hear about sometimes. Just jumped and beat up and whatever. And then he was hospitalized because of the reported attack, but then apparently got discharged from the hospital. And that flared up into a thing, and he didn't want to be discharged from the hospital, and he was arrested. So he reportedly got beat up and went to the hospital, then got arrested at the hospital. And then they canceled the whole tour, and he came back home to Nashville. And according to family and friends, release statement, got sick and diagnosed with pneumonia. And the way it was explained to me by people who are in his circle was that it, like, take a normal case of pneumonia, and then there's like 1 out of every 10,000 that can get this bad. And it got that bad. And complications set in, dead, 59 years old.
Dang.
I mean, just release an album, get ready to go on tour, and then in the final month of your life, you get beat up, you end up with pneumonia, and then you're just dead. Like, what? It's just the saddest thing. But if you're a fan of songwriting and storytelling, like there's few people better. I mean, genuinely hilarious in between songs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the songs are, I think maybe some people who, I get it, you know, it's 2025 and most of his notable stuff happened a long time ago. But he was notable enough to, like, you know, he's on Conan O'Brien and these late night network shows, and he was a real thing. And some of his more famous songs are kind of funny, catchy, you know, almost like frat house sing-alongs, right? But he also has like super serious, sweet, heartbreaking songs. Like, it's all there, whatever you're looking for. And his album that was called Happy to Be Here is like one of my favorite albums of the past, of my adult life. Like, there's funny stuff in there, but like really sweet stuff there. He's just really great.
Yep.
I was talking to Corey over the weekend, and Corey was like, you know, he was like, I don't think I intentionally did it, but I learned how to work a room by just watching Todd. You just, how he interacts with the crowd. Is it a loud room? How do you get them quiet? Or do you just get louder? Is it a quiet room? How do you handle that? Does this story work here? Does it not work here? Just sort of picked, which made sense to me because I think this is also true in just writing. Like, I pick up on, I can see influences in my writing, particularly when I was younger, that was quite clearly came from places I could tell. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't intentionally doing it. It's just I read these people all the time, and now I can see it seeping into what I do. And Corey was like, that's Todd for me. You know, he even said, like, I always, whenever I'm asked by these music writers, like, who are your influences? I always start with John Prine. But, like, Todd is in there somewhere, particularly with how to work a room. My friend Shaq, you know, used to tour with him, you know, helped manage his tour back in the early days. So I've, like, got, like, real friends who were real close to him, and they were beat up this weekend. That's a tough thing. You know, and I guess I'm just sort of getting to this age. It feels like somebody I've heard of or known, or it's just, you know, I've noticed, like, every time I talk to my mom, and I'm like, so what do you got going on this week? It is always a funeral.
Yeah.
You know, she's 70 years old now, and she is every week going to a funeral. And we're not quite there yet, but like, as you get older, this is just the way life works, right?
That's right.
You know, people just fall off. And yeah, that one hit me pretty good this weekend. You know, those songs, a lot of those songs were like really meaningful songs to me at certain points in my life. And yeah, just sad stuff. You probably, whether you were aware of Todd Snider or not, you probably saw a lot of this stuff floating around on social media over the weekend. So if you want to dive in and get a better appreciation for who he was as an artist, and particularly for the songs that he wrote in and about Memphis, like, it's all out there. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, the concert clips you'll watch them one after another. Rest in peace to an incredible songwriter who, you know, spent some good days here once upon a time. Be back with Carry Out.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis. Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushy to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express. Fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at Grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Platinum with the Grizz and get your tickets for the first City Night of the season on Thursday, November 20th, when they take on the Sacramento Kings in a game scheduled to tip at 7 p.m. Fans will also want to mark the calendar for Friday, December 5th. That's when the Clippers are in town. The Grizz are going to push play on their City Edition jerseys once more, and the first 5,000 in attendance receive City Edition sunglasses. Purchase your tickets today at Grizzlies.com/tickets. That's Grizzlies.com/tickets. Let's do GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Real quick, special shouts to Jenna and everybody connected to the Memphis Hustle for making my little boy's 9-year-old birthday party the best it could possibly be. I'm telling you, guys, you can't do better than taking kids to a Hustle game. They have a blast every time. You're down on the court, the big inflatables. You know, we had a group, like 40 or so people.
Yeah.
And, there was kids who, were standing on the floor next to professional basketball players, and they were like, I've never been this close to a professional basketball court.
Pretty cool.
Yes, it's really cool. And then I sort of remembered it. Like when I was their kid, we would always go to Memphis Americans indoor soccer games. And it was never really about watching the soccer as much. It was just like running around.
That's right.
And so there's one point I'm walking to, go to the bathroom or something, and I see my little guy running. He's like out of breath and running. I'm like, yo, is everything all right? He's like, yeah. So what are you doing? He said, we're playing hide and go seek. They're just playing hide and go seek in the Lander Center, just having a blast. So it was first class. They took great care of us. And if you ever looking for a place to take young kids to just experience a basketball game and everything that can go along with it, you're going to have a hard time doing better than a Memphis Hustle game down at the Lander Center. We had a beautiful time. My boy enjoyed his birthday party, and you know what? We'll probably do it again someday.
What's today's biggest game?
Are you ready for some football?
Sure.
It's a Monday night party. Are you ready for a Monday night party?
I think so.
Okay, it's Cowboys at Raiders. We're doing it at Allegiant Stadium out in Las Vegas. Dallas, 3.5-point favorite on the road, total 49.5. How you going to act?
3.5, huh? I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Okay, Ben is taking the home underdog.
Yeah.
You're going against America's team.
No, I think they'll win. I don't love that half point.
Turned off by the hook.
Yeah.
Okay, Raiders plus 3.5. That's the play according to Ben at 7:15 tonight. It's on ABC.
What are we watching on TV?
Landman Season 2 has launched. Did you watch Season 1?
No.
You don't love Landman.
I haven't watched Landman.
I love Landman.
I got a lot to catch up on, but yeah, I'll check it out.
It's Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, John Hamm, Allie Larder, Michelle Randolph. She's real popular.
I love all those people.
She's real popular, that last one. Positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I enjoyed Season 1, mostly because I enjoy Billy Bob Thornton, all the way back to the Sling Blade days.
Yeah.
Season 2, Episode 1 dropped yesterday on Paramount Plus. It's going to be 10 episodes in this season. They come out every Sunday, so if you want to get caught up now, you can do it on the app.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, over at CBSSports.com, I updated the top 25 and one. Wrote about Houston's win over Auburn yesterday. Houston's 2 starting bigs both fouled out, and they still got 3 stops in the final 15 seconds to secure a 1-point victory over Auburn. Purdue still number 1 in the top 25 and one. Houston number 2. You can read it at CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Tuesday. We'll get you ready for Grizz Spurs. Look back at Cowboys Raiders. Should be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it already. I hope you are too.
I am too.
All right. We're going to be happier tomorrow.
We're going to try.
All right. We just had to get through the weekend. First show at the weekend. It's a bad weekend. We're going to be happy tomorrow.
Good.
All right. I can't wait to be happy tomorrow.
Me too.
Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine, and we will meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.